tax bill scam circulating around and more car burglaries reported in the region. Frank Granito will have a look at the potential snow headed our way this week and later on your Nutmeg Sports Update. Donald Lang also joins us to take a look back on this day in history. But first, Milford police arrested a Stratford man last week in connection with a string of residential burglaries in Milford. On March 15th at about 9:30 in the morning, Milford police took custody of 36-year-old Michael Baldino of Light Street in Stratford in regards to 2 active warrants for his arrest. Now, Baldino is accused of being involved in residential burglaries in Milford on both February 9th and February 27th. The arrest warrant is based on physical evidence that was secured at the scene by members of the police department and then linked to Baldino. Milford police say they will continue investigating those local burglaries and they anticipate filing additional charges. Baldino so far is charged with conspiracy to commit burglary and conspiracy to commit larceny. And another rash of car burglaries on unlocked vehicles hit Wilton during the overnight hours of March 16th, prompting police to again warn residents to lock their cars. Now, thefts were reported from 13 vehicles entered while parked in residential driveways. There were also 2 attempts at thefts from a vehicle and 1 stolen. As you can see, police provided some video clips from residential surveillance cameras that captured some of those attempts at opening of car doors. Now, police are also asking for the public's assistance in identifying those people seen in the video. Anyone with information can call the Wilton Police Department at 203-834-6260 or email at crime.watch@wiltonct.org. There's also more information and more video at wiltonbulletin.com. And Darien is experiencing similar incidents as those reported in Wilton. On March 12th, 2 Darien residents reported that their cars had been stolen from their driveways overnight. Both cars had been left unlocked with the keys inside. Now, a Denahurst Place resident had 1 car stolen from the driveway and another rummaged through. One resident near Sunnyside Lane heard someone getting into a vehicle and tires screeching at about 2:30 a.m. Now, the 2 thefts occurred within a half mile of each other. The investigation is ongoing, but police advised residents to lock their cars wherever they park. And in other news, Connecticut State Police have arrested a Brookline man for years of allegedly hacking cell phones and social media to use those to then threaten victims in order to obtain nude photographs. Over the course of several years, dating back to 2014, Connecticut State Police Eastern District Major Crime and troopers from Troop D in Danielson, Connecticut, investigated several incidences related to the illegal hacking of cell phones and social media accounts, and then subsequent illegal distribution of personal pictures and information. And this involved over 20 adult and juvenile female victims. Now, during the course of these investigations, a suspect was identified as 25-year-old Christopher Lamb of Brookline, Connecticut. Police say Lamb was able to hack the victims' phones, social media accounts, and cloud storage to obtain sensitive photographs and personal information, including contact lists. Now, Lamb would then attempt to coerce and threaten the victims with disclosure of these sensitive photographs unless those victims agreed to send him nude photographs. Now, if the victims did not comply, which none of them did, he would disseminate those victims' sensitive photographs to lewd websites, members of the victims' family and friends, as well as their employers. Now, according to police, Lamb caused a great deal of pain, humiliation, anxiety, and personal loss to these victims. Well, on March 16th, Lamb was taken into custody on 51 charges. Those include 4 counts of promoting a minor in an obscene performance, 4 counts of importing child pornography for accessing nude pictures from the cloud servers of cell phones of victims under the age of 16 years, and 1 count of possessing child pornography in the 3rd degree. He was held on a court-set bond of $100,000 and was scheduled to appear in court later that day. And state police arrested 2 Massachusetts men Sunday after drugs and guns were allegedly found in their vehicle during a traffic stop. 24-year-old Hector Martinez and 37-year-old Robert Ruiz, both of Springfield, were passengers in a vehicle that was stopped on Interstate 84 near Exit 2 in Danbury after a trooper allegedly clocked them going 81 miles per hour in a 55 zone. Well, during that stop, police said they smelled a strong odor of marijuana coming from the car. Troopers said one of them had indicated he had smoked marijuana and that there were blunts in the car. Well, with the help of a canine unit, troopers searched the vehicle, allegedly finding some marijuana in the vehicle's center console, a small bag of marijuana in the trunk, and 3 firearms. Police said the serial number on one of those firearms had been scratched off. Well, the driver, police said, was issued an infraction for speeding and released. Martinez was charged with illegal possession of a weapon in a motor vehicle and carrying a dangerous weapon. And Ruiz was charged with illegal alteration of firearms identification, as well as illegal possession of a weapon and carrying a dangerous weapon. And in other news, in its final report of the season, the Connecticut Department of Public Health said there were 7 additional deaths related to the influenza virus, bringing the total numbers of fatalities in Connecticut to 119. Now, DPH Commissioner Paul Pino said that Connecticut has passed the peak of the flu season, and our numbers are trending in the right direction. He said we still have a few more weeks of flu activity to get through, and people should continue to take precautions to avoid contracting or spreading the flu, but the worst of the season appears to be behind us. Now, statewide emergency department visits attributed to the flu have just decreased for the past 5 weeks, but at 7.3% remain well above the baseline level of 5% statewide. Now, a total of 2,418 patients have been hospitalized with confirmed cases of the flu between August 27, 2017 and March 10, 2018. Now, of the 119 deaths attributed to the flu, 88 were associated with influenza A, 30 with influenza B, 1 of an unknown type. Now, of these deaths, 98 were among patients over the age of 65, 12 were between the ages of 50 and 64 years of age, and 5 were between 25 and 49 years old, and 1 was between 19 and 24 years, and finally 3 were under the age of 18. All right, taking a turn now, we're going to throw it over to Frank Granito for a look at your forecast. Frank.
All right, thank you, Kate. Plenty of sunshine coming our way today. It'll be a little cooler out. Temperatures sitting around 41 degrees. Light breeze around 10 miles per hour, and temperatures falling down to around 23 overnight. We'll see more sun tomorrow, but later on in the day, a mix of clouds working their way in. It'll be colder out with the wind chill. Temperatures feeling right around freezing at 32 degrees. Cooler overnight with increasing cloud cover as well, and we could see a little bit of snow potentially developing tomorrow night. It'll carry in to Wednesday morning, looking more like a wintry mix at the moment. Potential for flooding along the coastal areas, but not looking like we'll see too much accumulation. Right now, really anywhere between ½ an inch to 2 inches, depending on which part of the county you're in, but we'll obviously keep an eye on that as we get closer to Wednesday. That'll do it for this weather update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. And we're going to step out for a break, come back. Donald Eng will take a look back on this day in history. Frank has your Nutmeg Sports Update, and we have more local news after this. Set sail on a summertime adventure with Sail Away Sailing School. Located in Captain's Cove Seaport in Bridgeport, we're sailing June 18th through August 10th. 2 sessions offered daily, Monday through Friday for ages 9 to 15. Have fun, make friends, learn to sail. Visit teamsailaway.com.
At Pamby Motors, we're not worried about being the biggest dealership. We're focused on being the best. We're dedicated to giving you the best experience we can. The Pamby Motors team is here to help you choose the right Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, or Ram in a friendly, pressure-free environment. And right now, during Ram Truck Month, get up to $14,000 off on all in-stock 2017 Ram 1500 pickups. Come in and see us for details. Visit Pamby Motors, Route 7 in Ridgefield, PambyZone.com.
At Budget Blinds, we're in business to frame the light, the day, and the night. So we give you an exclusive combination of high style, expert service, our no surprises pricing, and our no questions asked warranty. We believe that everyone, at every budget, deserves style and service. Isn't that a beautiful place to be?
Dr. Stephen Molinaro and Peter Healy of Family Practice Dentistry and Laser Dental Care have served Ridgefield for over 22 years. Experienced staff offer gentle drillless techniques, preventative care, and cosmetic procedures in a relaxed environment. Grateful for the community's trust and support through the years, new patients and their families are welcome. Call today.
Welcome back to this March 19th edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. Time to get a look back on this day in history with Donald Eng. Don.
Well, Kate, another interesting day as always historically. Speaking of which, beginning in 1649, when the House of Commons in England passes an act that abolishes the House of Lords, declaring it useless and dangerous to the people of England. Now, the House of Lords was reformed about a dozen years later, although the House of Commons periodically revisits the issue of abolishing the upper house. You may not know this, but England does not have a written constitution. The government basically runs on tradition. The House of Lords is appointed, not elected, and functions as the upper house in Parliament, but cannot actually veto any House of Commons legislation, like, say, abolishing the House of Lords. To 1918 now, the U.S. Congress, 100 years ago, establishes time zones and approves daylight savings time. Now, the world rotates once every 24 hours, but for almost all of human history, it didn't really matter that the sun rises and sets in Boston 12 minutes before it does in New York. It was the establishment of the National Railroad System that necessitated knowing precisely what time it was everywhere in the country. Now, most cities had already adopted so-called railroad time by 1918. The last major holdout, Detroit, was still operating on local time as recently as 100 years ago. 1941 now, the 99th Pursuit Squadron, also known as the Tuskegee Airmen, the first all-black unit of the Army Air Corps, is activated. The segregated unit was among the most decorated of the war, earning 3 Presidential Unit citations. Today, the 99th operates as a transport squadron, still sporting the distinctive red painted tails on its planes. Finally, now we go to 2003 for this.
My fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger. On my orders, coalition forces have begun striking selected targets of military importance to undermine Saddam Hussein's ability to wage war. These are opening stages of what will be a broad and concerted campaign.
That was President George W. Bush announcing that the United States, along with some other coalition forces, had initiated a war in Iraq in an effort to topple the Saddam Hussein regime, which was thought to have weapons of mass destruction. Major combat operations lasted into May. Allied forces never located any WMDs. That is your look back in history for today, March 19th, and I'm Donald Eng.
All right, thanks so much, Don. Well, in other local news, Connecticut taxpayers are being warned by the Department of Revenue Services not to open, make a payment, or reply to an email or any other communication claiming to be a tax bill for Amazon or Newegg purchases. Now, the email directs the tax payment to a fake website. Now, the fraudsters had mocked up an official-looking DRS email bill that misdirects the improper payment to the scammer's bank account. Now, DRS Commissioner Kevin Sullivan said in part, tax-related scams increase as we get closer to the April 17th deadline. He said crooks, fraudsters, and cyber criminals use more sophisticated methods to trick taxpayers and take their money. Now, the Connecticut DRS never initiates contact with taxpayers by email, text messages, or social media to request any tax payments or personal and financial information such as PINs, passwords, credit card, banking, or other account information. Now, printed tax notice letters similar to the phony emails have been sent through the U.S. mail by DRS. Those paper letters are legitimate, but if a taxpayer has any questions about a notice or bill they receive from the DRS, they are encouraged to contact the department directly for more information. And some new Canaan playground equipment has been delivered a few months early. Parks Department Recreation Director Steve Benko said the Mead Park playground equipment has been delivered earlier than expected. Benko explained to the Parks Commission that they ordered the playground equipment and were hoping it would be shipped sometime in May, but instead it arrived on March 13th. Now, the equipment is currently being stored in a parking lot at the Waveney Park pool. Now, after the meeting, Benko told the advertiser that the town actually saved money by ordering the equipment before January 1st, but he did not know that it would mean that it would be delivered in March. Well, Parks Commissioner Francesca Sigalis was worried about the equipment sitting around until it's installed in August. Benko said the company will be responsible should any parts go missing. Now, Sigalis said that the Friends of Mead Park Playground have raised $85,000 toward that playground and soon believe they will have $102,000. Now, the group has been fundraising to cover half of the cost of that playground. So much more on that story at ncadvertiser.com. And the Monroe Police Department and Special Olympics Connecticut is inviting all to run, jump, or dive into Great Hollow Lake on Saturday, April 7th for the 8th annual plunge at the park. Now, all who are 8 or older are invited to take the plunge to support Special Olympics athletes. Participants are welcome to wear a costume, team jersey, or bathing suit. Towels and water shoes are recommended. Now, event t-shirts will be provided to all participants. For ways to sign up or become a sponsor, you can get more information at MonroeCourier.com. And Ridgefield resident Ellen Burns snapped a photo of a resting bald eagle in the backyard of her home on Fox Hill Lake Monday morning on Ridgefield's Great Hill Road. Now, she told the Ridgefield Press that they have a field scope on a tripod so they can watch the wildlife on the lake, so she used it to identify that bald eagle. Now, she shot that photo with her iPhone pressed against that scope eyepiece. Now, according to the State Environmental Protection Department, only about 100 of those birds winter in Connecticut. All right, well, let's throw it back to Frank Granito now for your Nutmeg Sports Update. Frank.
All right, thank you, Kate. And the winter season has officially come to a close as the basketball and hockey tournaments concluded over this past weekend. Want to offer congratulations to the Fairfield Prep Jesuits, who are the Division I boys ice hockey champions in the state of Connecticut for the 14th time in school history. They defeated Greenwich 4-2 from Ingalls Rink on Saturday. The Jesuits trailed by scores of 1-0 and 2-1 entering the third period, but used 3 goals in the final period from seniors Kevin Oricoli and as well as Carter Krall. As they would go on and win this game, the player of the tournament, John McGee, finished with 24 saves to conclude his career. And so congratulations to the Jesuits. Also want to offer congratulations to Notre Dame of Fairfield. Good time to be a Catholic school in the public school leagues as they take home their first title in boys basketball, winning the Division I championship, defeating Sacred Heart. Kevin and I will break down all of the winter season at 2 o'clock. We'll also get you ready for our spring sports tour here, which gets started later on this week. That'll do it for this Nutmeg Sports Update. Let's go back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. And we're going to step out for a break, come back, and recap some of the top stories we're following today after this.
Dr. Stephen Molinaro and Peter Healy of Family Practice Dentistry and Laser Dental Care have served Ridgefield for over 22 years. Experienced staff offer gentle drillless techniques, preventative care, and cosmetic procedures in a relaxed environment. Grateful for the community's trust and support through the years, new patients and their families are welcome. Call today.
At Rings End, we say it's time to re-love your home, time to refresh and reinvigorate the way you live. And whether you're redoing something big or small, remember the letters RE stand for Rings End. We're the new model in home remodeling.
While there's still a bite out on the water, most anglers have decided to stow the gear for the winter. Just because Mother Nature isn't cooperating doesn't mean you can't see the latest models of all your favorite gear. With 2 convenient locations, it couldn't be easier to get your fix of summer. Boater, beach bum, fisherman, or simply love the New England coast, this is a unique place to shop. The Dock Shop, 51 Tokenique Road, Darien, 609 Riverside Avenue, Westport, or on the web, dockshop.com. Well, there's
Welcome back to this Monday edition of your Coffee Break on the HAN Network. I'm Kate Czaplinski, recapping some of the top stories we're following today. Milford police arrested a Stratford man last week in connection to a string of residential burglaries in Milford. Now, on March 15th, at approximately 9:30 a.m., Milford police took custody of 36-year-old Michael Baldino of 645 Light Street in Stratford in regards to 2 active warrants for his arrest. Now, Baldino is accused of being involved in residential burglaries in Milford on February 9th and on February 27th. That arrest warrant is based on physical evidence that was secured at the scene by members of the police department and then linked to Baldino. Well, Milford police say they will continue investigating the local burglaries and said they anticipate filing additional charges. So far, Baldino is charged with conspiracy to commit burglary and conspiracy to commit larceny. And another rash of car burglaries on unlocked vehicles hit Wilton during the overnight hours of March 16th, prompting police to warn residents to lock their cars. Now, thefts are reported from 13 vehicles entered while parked in residential driveways and 2 attempts at thefts from a vehicle and 1 stolen vehicle. Now, police provided these video clips from residential surveillance cameras that captured some of the attempts at opening those car doors. Well, police are asking for the public's help in identifying those people seen in the video. Anyone with information can contact the Wilton Police Department at 203-834-6260 or email at crime.watch@wiltonct.org. And Darien is experiencing similar incidents as those reported in Wilton. On March 12th, 2 Darien residents reported that their cars had been stolen from their driveways overnight. Both cars had been left unlocked with the keys inside. Now, a Denahurst Place resident had 1 car stolen from the driveway and another rummaged through. One resident near Sunnyside Lane heard someone getting into a vehicle and tires screeching at about 2:30 a.m. Now, the 2 thefts occurred within a half-mile of each other. The investigation is ongoing, but police, as always, advise residents to lock their cars wherever they park. And in other news, Connecticut State Police have arrested a Brookline man for years of allegedly hacking cell phones and social media to then threaten the victims in order to obtain nude photographs. Well, over the course of several years, dating back to 2014, Connecticut State Police Eastern District Major Crime and troopers from Troop D investigated several incidents relating to the illegal hacking of cell phones and social media accounts and the subsequent illegal distribution of personal pictures and informations. Now, this involved over 20 adult and juvenile female victims. Now, during the course of these investigations, a suspect was identified as 25-year-old Christopher Lamb of Brookline. Now, police say Lamb was able to hack the victims' phones, social media accounts, and cloud storage in order to obtain sensitive photographs and personal information, including contact lists. Now, Lamb would then attempt to coerce and threaten the victims with disclosure of these sensitive photographs unless the victims agreed to send him nude photos. Well, if the victims did not comply, which none of the identified victims did, he would disseminate the victims' sensitive photographs to lewd websites, members of their family, as well as friends and their employers. Now, according to state police, Lamb caused a great deal of pain, humiliation, anxiety, and personal loss to these victims. Well, on March 16th, Lamb was taken into custody on 51 charges. Now, those charges include 4 counts of promoting a minor in an obscene performance, 4 counts of importing child pornography for accessing nude pictures from the cloud servers of cell phones of victims under the age of 16, as well as 1 count of possessing child pornography in the 3rd degree. Now, Lamb was held on a court-set $100,000 bond, and he was scheduled to appear in court that same day. All right, let's get one final look at your forecast with Frank Granito. Frank.
All right, thanks again, Kate. A sunny day coming our way around Fairfield County. We're looking at temperatures right around 40 to 42 degrees. Plenty of sunshine throughout the evening, and overnight we'll see clear skies heading into Tuesday. Colder tomorrow as temperatures fall back down into the 30s. We'll see an increase in cloud cover later on in the day. It will continue to get cloudier overnight. We could see developments of snow in the early morning hours carrying through the morning commute. It's going to be a wintry mix from what we're seeing right now. Potential chance of flooding for some coastal areas in Fairfield County, anywhere between ½ an inch to maybe 2 inches is our original forecast, but we'll have more on that as we continue to get closer to Wednesday. Back at 2 o'clock for Nutmeg Sports, putting a wrap on the winter season. For now, though, send it back over to Kate.
All right, thanks so much, Frank. And we are going to wrap things up here on your coffee break. Nutmeg Sports coming up at 2 o'clock. And we will see you tomorrow with the latest local news and more, and tell you about our upcoming FCAC tour tomorrow. Have a great day.